Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Collar Beer Gourmet. I'm Chris, this is my channel. On this channel I like to drink craft beer, I like to review craft beer, and I don't like to pay a whole lot of money to do it. So the beers that I review on here usually come in around the $2 price range, and such was the case with today's selection. I paid $1.99 for the 2019 edition of the Summerfest Crisp Lager from Sierra Nevada. It is described as a crisp lager. I'm going to go over some of the ins and outs of that really quickly. If you go to Untappd, it's going to refer to it as a Pilsner. Pilsners are a type of lager. Pilsners actually originated from the Pilsen region of the Czech Republic. Former Czechoslovakia is what I was trying to say. It is described as a bitter, pale Czech Pilsner style lager. Well, the deal with with that is you can make American Pilsners, but if you make a Czech lager, or if you make a Czech style lager, if you're not making it in the realm, in the region of Pilsen, you're making a Czech-style lager, not a Pilsner. So you can make an American version of the Pilsner, but you can't make a Czech Pilsner without being in Pilsen. So there's the ins and outs of that. Pilsners are typically lower alcohol, light-bodied, and an American Pilsner you should not be experiencing the sulfur smell that oftentimes comes with the Pilsner yeast, and the Pilsner malt sometimes can take on sort of a sulfury smell. That's largely because of, I guess, as I understand it, the water in Pilsen is very clean and crisp, but it also has a slight sulfuric smell to it. Anyway, that's the ins and outs of that. So the hops that were used for this beer were Pearl, Saaz, and Spalter Select. They used Munich Pilsner, two-row pale malt, and lager yeast. Quick information about the beer itself. There we go. 5% ABV. Typically, Pilsners come in between 3.0 and 4.1, so this actually is really more in keeping with lager than, say, Pilsner. 28 IBUs. Typically, Pilsners come in between 20 and 35 IBUs. Quick notes about the reviewing community. 4 of my friends on Untappd gave this a cumulative score of 4.13. So far, 2,055 of us have given a cumulative score of 3.64, which is actually kind of low, lower than I was expecting. Beer Advocate has had 4,389 rankings and has given it a cumulative score of 3.67, which on their scale is good. Okay, so there it is. That's the 2019 version. There is a version that comes out every summer. And the last time I actually had a Summerfest was the 2016 version, gave it a 4.25. So there you have it. Let's see if there's anything here. There's something about a warm summer day that calls out for a cold glass of great beer, and this classic Czech-style lager is sure to fit the bill. Crisp, cold, and refreshing, Summerfest is the perfect choice for soaking up the sunshine. Many of you are saying, gee, Chris, it's kind of past the summer. I mean, here we are into the second week of October, and you'd be right. I admittedly did not get this beer into the review cycle as early as I should have. But guys, you gotta forgive me. I live in Las Vegas. I forget that summer doesn't last all year long for everybody else. I mean, it's summer here. It starts around, well, usually at the end of March, and it runs until the beginning of March. So, it's always summer here. It never seems out of place to drink a summer beer here because it's always warm. So anyway, I apologize for that. I probably should have gotten this into the rotation a little bit sooner, but this is part of No IPA October. And I will repeat this again, forgot to repeat it for the first October review, but I worked very hard, stayed a lot longer at the bottle and can shop than I normally do, which is not a problem, believe me, staying extra time. But I made sure I did not grab any IPAs this round, so for all of October and even part of November, there will be no IPAs. All right, going to be using my Pilsner glass. If you notice the little notches right in here in the center, that's what makes it a Pilsner glass. There is another Pilsner glass called a Pokal. It actually makes a full cone shape, an upside down cone. That's a Pokal. This is just a Pilsner glass. So And this is pouring exactly what I'd expect a Pilsner color to be. Very light gold and yellow. And looks like we've got a fair amount of carbonation. I am already smelling that malt. You can smell that Pilsner malt and that Pilsner yeast. Two things you can always smell. Or I guess in this one they use lager yeast, but I can sure smell Pilsen malt. That's for sure. Let's take a look at that head. Well, the bubbles are popping pretty quickly, so I don't imagine this head's going to be sticking around very long. And it's nice and good and foamy and there now, but it's not crazy resilient. I do see a lot of carbonation in this. I'm kind of seeing the carbonation there on the camera, not much. Guys, what you're seeing is maybe this is one of the few times when it's the camera is not showing the true color of the beer, but it's pretty close. You're actually seeing just slightly darker. I'm going to try and get away because I can see my own reflection in the beer on the camera. So you're seeing maybe one shade darker. I'm going to give this a quick beard wipe, see what I can come across. And what I smell is more of that Pilsner malt. Let me make sure. Let's see. Oh, you know what? It's the Saaz hops. The Saaz hops and the Pilsner hop and the Pilsner malt that I smell. That definitely creates that Pilsner bouquet, even though this is technically just a lager and not a full-on Pilsner. So I'm going to stick my schnoz in here, see what I can come up with. I smell sort of a honey, but what I really smell, honestly, is malt. Just malty malt, malt. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of malt, and a little bit of those Saaz hops on the back end. But if you're going to make a Czech-style anything, you got to have Saaz hops, is my understanding. If you were going to make a Czech Bock, if there was such a thing, you'd have to have Saaz hops in it. So, anyway, that's the prereq for making something Czech, and I'm going to quit going this and start drinking. Cheers. That is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's crisp, it's refreshing. It's not, it doesn't have hardly any alcohol burn, although there is just the slightest hint of it back in the very end. What I taste mostly is malt, as I did in the bouquet. There's a little bit of hoppiness to it, so you can tell that this is in fact a little more complex hop profile than you normally find on Pilsners. That's why it's a Czech-style lager too, I think, because it has, how many styles of hops did I say? Pearl, Saaz, and Spelter Select. So there you have it, 3 different varieties of hops. Typically Pilsners have 1 or at most 2. This is a little adventurous having those 3 varieties. But once again, it's not really a Pilsner, it's a Czech-style lager. So I'm going to describe that as a medium-high mouthfeel. It is kind of spiky, even though it's not overly hot in the alcohol burn. The flavor is just, it's crisp, it's refreshing. It tastes like a beer, but it doesn't taste overly like a beer. Lagers are known for not having a particularly pronounced flavor, and such is the case with this. It's not an overly pronounced flavor, but it is a good flavor, and it's a refreshing flavor. And I think I'm going to be giving this a 4.25 like I did the 2016 version. If it came in a can, I would have given it a 4.5. But anyway, this is a good beer, and I'm going to recommend it to everybody, and you need to get yourself out there and grab whatever bottles left are out there of the 2019 Summerfest. I've never had a bad, well, that was the last time I had a Summerfest was 2016, but it's almost impossible to find a bad beer from Sierra Nevada. Sierra Nevada is one of those, I'm going to refer to them as successful, not corporate. They've had great success. They don't feel the need to go around buying out other people's breweries, changing recipes, acting like corporate raiders. So once again, Sierra Nevada, corporate, I mean successful, not corporate. Guys, if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, drink good beer and don't break the bank doing it. Cheers.